3. Hey, Alan Barnosky here. Today I'm going to be going through a version of Home Sweet Home. This is an arrangement that I've put together for guitar, adapted from Earl Scruggs' banjo recording. So this kind of takes his fingerstyle banjo approach and uses it, incorporating some cross-picking and some other cool effects. So I'm going to go through and just play the tune first so you can see what it sounds like. Afterwards, I'll talk about it a little bit more and give some insight into playing it. But yeah, to start, I'll just go ahead and play through it. This is Home Sweet Home. 1, 2, 3. So there it is. That's the arrangement of Home Sweet Home. There's going to be two things I'd like to talk about in this video. One of them is cross-picking, and we'll kind of go in depth into cross-picking and how this arrangement uses cross-picking. And then the second thing to talk about is this note, this one note. This G note. And if that seems like a funny thing to talk about in a video, it kind of is, but if you want to, learn more about it, you're just going to have to wait until we get there. So hang in there and we'll get to it. The first thing is cross-picking. If you've never heard of cross-picking before, Acoustic Guitar Magazine has a great kind of overview called Cross-Picking 101. Just search for it on Google and it'll be the first thing you see. Cross-Picking 101. Go there to learn a little bit more about cross-picking and some of the nuances. And and I'll just kind of do a brief little overview here. Cross-picking is playing across 3 strings typically. And in this example, I'll just use the G, the B, and the E string, because that's what we're using in Home Sweet Home. So this is cross-picking using all downstrokes. Just kind of as an illustration. But really, typically when you do cross-picking, you want to use a down, up, down, up, down, up picking pattern. And that looks like this. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. And that's what I call a forward cross-pick, because we're going from the G to the E string. You can also do a backward cross-pick, which goes from the E string to the G string. When you do the backward or the forward, you're still doing down, up, down, up, down, up. So if you're new to cross-picking, this can be a lot. This is kind of like drinking from the fire hose. So take a minute when you can and go back and look for that cross-picking 101. But if this all sounds good and you want to move forward with this arrangement, what I would recommend you do is first just kind of work through the notation and try as much as you can and commit it to memory. Sticking with alternate picking throughout, down, up, down, up, down, up. And then also identifying where those cross-picking sections are. There are some sections that are forward, which is like this. There are some sections that are backward, which is like this. And there's some sections that are not cross-picked at all. So I think it'd be helpful to figure out where those are. Just as a preview, the intro is not cross-picked. And then it goes into a backward. and then a forward, and a backward. So that's just kind of a little overview. I'll leave it up to you, the diligent student, to find all those spots. I think figuring it out where all the spots are will really kind of help your understanding of forward and backward cross picking and how those can kind of work a little bit seamlessly. So seamlessly that you might not even realize it if you didn't go through and kind of figure out where they were. So that's that. That's that section on cross picking. The other thing to talk about was this note, that G note. The reason why this note is important is because on the banjo there's a drone string. It is the string that's kind of in this position on the banjo neck, and actually there's a peg right here where the string starts instead of at the headstock where the rest of the strings start. And that note is actually the highest pitched note on a banjo, and it acts as a drone string. So a lot of times, like as a banjo player is rolling, they're doing these, these finger style roll patterns. They're rolling through chord shapes, so their C has that high G note in it. So it might sound a little bit more like that. And their G chord has that high G note in it. And their F chord even would have that high G note in it as they're rolling through these different shapes. So in this arrangement of Home Sweet Home, that G note comes up a lot because it's built off of a banjo arrangement. There it is. There it is. There it is. And so on. So you hear that note quite a bit. The reason I'm bringing it up is not just to be like, hey, look how clever this arrangement is, but really, when you go into the B part, that G note is there too. That's the same note. And then, there it is. It shows up a lot of times. So the reason why I wanted to point this out is that that you're aware that this note is happening even over something like an F chord. That's the F chord right there, but we add that G note, kind of like how we did down here. So it's there's that big stretch there. If you want, you could play it like this. I find it easier to play with the pinky. But the reason why I'm talking about this is because of that G note. And the reason why I'm devoting time to it here is because a lot of us guitar players, myself included, get pretty lost when you kind of go into this area of the fretboard. We feel good down here, but when we get a little bit higher than, like, say, the 6th fret, things start to get a bit murky. So it can be helpful to have a reference as we start to learn that area. So if that describes you and you want a reference for how to get up and down the neck a little bit easier, that G can serve as a good reference, even if you're playing in the key of C. And that's it. That's everything. I do want to say, if you work on this and you have any questions, please email me. My name's Alan Barnosky. My website, it's easy to find, alanbarnosky.com. You can find my email there. On social media. If you want, take a video and post this on social media and let me know. I'd love to see it. So that's it. The last thing I'm going to do here is play this much slower, 72 BPM, in case you'd like to see it at a slower speed. And that's going to close out the video. Thanks for watching.